Yeah, really cool connecting with you all. I know we've been keeping in touch, but this is the first time we've spoken.
Yeah, well, we haven't spoken face to face before.
Yeah,
but nice to meet you, Douglas. Nice to meet you, Stifler.
Congratulations, man. By the way, that's great, man.
Cheers, dude. Thank you. 4 weeks.
Is your heart pounding?
It was pounding 30 weeks ago.
Can you guys give me some background about yourselves?
Petrolhead, have been all my life. For as long as I can remember, really. My dad would loved it. We used to go watch grass track racing and all sorts of things when I was a kid. Because we live in York in England, I remember as a child, that the Lombard RAC rally used to start from York very regularly back in the day, 70s, 80s. I've done autograss racing myself, the same thing, but that I've just described, but in a better form, if you like. Did pretty well with that. I've done oval racing as well in the UK, state stock cars, that type of thing. So, and I won the, 2 litre hot rods, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2 litre hot rods in 2000. I was North of England champion. First race out, I bought a car in the week and I hadn't driven it. Drove it on and off the trailer and went out and won the race. So. But yeah, I've done rallying, escorts, used to rally with a good friend of mine. Motorcycles as well, but more just on the road. And engineering in general. Started life mechanicking and into precision stuff. And yeah. So, and even now, we're celebrating today because our test jockey, Blair McConaughey, he's just become the British champion today of the Caterham 270Rs. Actually, yesterday he won the championship yesterday. So, yeah, we're really pleased for him. So, well done, Blair, if you're watching this, mate. We're sorry we missed you. We were supposed to be there, but we haven't been able to make it because of work commitments, and we've had a leaky roof on the workshop, which we've had to repair.
That's not going to help, yeah.
And that was just one thing. Yeah, we had a machine go down because it was wet through. So, yeah, we've had a bit of a... But we've done that this weekend. We've had a good graft on, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my background. So...
Yeah, what about you, Billy?
Well, basically, as you can probably tell, I've been brought up in a motorsport background. Never really had a go myself, only a bit of karting and stuff. I'd like to have a go one day, hopefully, fingers crossed. So most weekends were just sort of spent going around with old man and watching him racing and stuff like that. We often go up to like Croft, which is an hour and a half from us here, watch a bit of rallying, rallycross. We want to go up and watch a bit of British touring cars at some point as well, on the list of to-dos. And once again, just massive motorsport fan. I think I did my first bit of welding when I was 6, 7.
7,
something like that.
Welded a push pipe back together, yeah.
Yeah, so just been around engineering all my life. Left school in 2008, went straight into working with my dad. Left there, did a few jobs here and there, different things, car sales, retail, that sort of stuff. But then went back to engineering. And then left the company. I wasn't happy there, so now
you engineer wood now, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a wood butcher now, so a bit different. But then I do this obviously on the side. Yeah, love engineering and love motorsport. So
still involved building our own car again.
Yeah, that as well.
I'm sure you got Billy into motorsports, but did Billy get you guys into sim racing?
No.
That's surprising. Okay.
Yeah, well as engineering, I've been messing with computers since Clive Sinclair released the ZX81, followed by the Spectrum, then the Commodore 64, the Amiga, the Atari STs, and followed it up and broke away from Amigas in the end to PCs when Windows 95 was released. Yeah, I've always played games, we've played online games for as long as
since I was born.
Yeah, since he was little, since he could do it, with 2 PCs and playing Command and Conquer together and Red Alert, that kind of thing. Yeah, Counter-Strike, we did all them, didn't we? Yeah, a few years ago, we got to know a guy called Rennie, who runs his own club here in the UK, Rennie R Motorsport. Good club, good club for sim racing. We got to know him, and he introduced us into the sort of more up-to-date sim racing, and that was I was hooked. All right, I've got to get into this.
So about the Ford Escort, like, how's that project going?
Yeah, it's been on standstill for the last year or so.
Well, building
obviously,
shifters.
with BDH starting and that. But recently moved it from the driveway here. Mum and Dad's
out there.
just out the window. So yeah, now undercover again.
It's a South African import.
1980.
It's a 1980 import because Escort Mark II has just fetched stupid money in England now.
So
They
it's
are
cheaper to
sweet.
import it?
Well, in a way, yes, because the cars are so much better quality. Because over here, a 40-year-old Escort is just absolutely falling apart. Yeah, okay, it was silly money. People would say it was a lot of money for a 40-year-old banger, but it isn't.
That was full of filler.
So yeah, and for some reason it had half inch of fiberglass from the back panel to the front footwells on
Inside.
the floor inside. So that added about 40 kilos to the car.
I'll send you a photo of that as well.
So when you started BDH, what made you choose on an H pattern for the sim racing market, like to start off with?
I wanted, because I love, which we've already talked about, my love of sim racing, I wanted a decent H pattern shifter. I'd had the Logitechs and then I got a TH8A Thrustmaster. And I just wanted a decent shifter, and you know, with all the guys, the friends I've got and all that, you know, we've been an engineer, and then the people were just saying, well, couldn't you make one? And you know, we looked at the price of the Pro Sim and looked at the quality of various other ones and thought, well, I'll make one. So I went in the workshop one day and raided the scrap bin and came out with this. I think I sent you a photo of what I
The original.
Yeah, I thought I had. Yeah, just came up with that just as a proof of concept, and yeah, it sort of grew from there. I did that one, and then I made another one for our friend Gary over at Ultimate Sim Hardware. He broke it.
That asshole?
But my bad completely. It was just a big design flaw. But yeah, and then we sort of, you know, we discussed it with him. What do you think? Blah, blah. And yeah, it sort of grew from there. So we ended up with the prototype bazooka, as it's now known, because for our friend Henk, or Henrik.
I like Hank.
So yeah, we ended up with the first iteration of the bazooka, which I gave to Gary as a thank you, because you know he's done a lot for me, helped me through a bad time, and I gave it to Gary, and he put a picture of it on the internet, and the rest is history.
Okay.
Our inbox hasn't stopped since.
There's a big gap in the market, you know, like.
It's what we thought, you know, we looked at it seriously, and we looked at the scrap bin challenge one that I made, which, to be fair, we are thinking seriously of building something similar as a budget or entry level shifter.
Oh.
That shifter I've got upstairs there, that's the scrap bin challenge one, has been absolutely hammered for the last 2 years, and it's never missed a beat. We've got new subcontractors on the go now for the bazooka. In fact, we've just ordered 20 sets of parts for the next batch rather than doing them ourselves. That's actually been ordered and paid for this week. So, you know, we're almost a year into what we're doing, so it's time to, you know, really up our game, because the amount of interest that we're getting, I mean, it's we would never, ever have dreamt we would be so busy. We are making some sort of one-off specials for two big name rally drivers, but that, again, I'm not going to name who, WRC drivers. So yeah, it's gone really well. So we're looking at maybe the lower end of the market as well for a, I don't know what we'll call that one. If that one's a bazooka, what should we call
Shoebox?
that one?
How about the 22?
22, like that.
Yeah,
like that.
22. Yeah.
There you go.
How about the,
Well done.
It's something that we really would like to do, is put another one out there.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we've got another plan for what we've already called the H box,
Okay.
which is basically, it will be an aluminium box with everything in it. It'll be an 8-speed H pattern like we have now, possibly a sequential add-on or sequential mode, and it will all run on a remote linkage, so people who are struggling for room on their rig could mount it down by their feet, or say somebody who runs a front wheel drive car as a race car. You know, we worked hard with Blair McConaughey this year, because he's got the Caterham, so we made his shifter, because he has it exactly in position where it is in his real race car, his real world car. So we worked hard with Blair to get that right. So we're thinking, well, if somebody had a front-wheel drive car in the real world that they race, it's a completely different feeling, isn't it? Because the gearboxes are way away from your feet. So we're looking at maybe a remote linkage job for the guys who've got the front wheel, or if they've got a mid-engine car, rear-engine car, with a linkage to the back of the engine, you know, all sorts of things like that.
You felt like there's a gap in the H-pattern market, and that's why you filled it. What's missing technology-wise, game-wise?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. It's a tough one. I'm pissed off with software developers releasing absolute crap
Okay.
that isn't ready, and especially when it's representing an international, global form of motorsport, and my favourite one. And I think you know what I'm talking about. You and I spoke, I think, around the time of release with that, and we sort of said, you know, we were both really excited, and that was when you'd invited me and Billy to maybe take part in that challenge that you were doing, and we said we'd hold off till WRC 10. I've had 12 hours on it, so no refund. And I haven't even got it to drive properly. Because as soon as I set off, my steering wheel just goes to the right, like I've got a flat front tyre.
Force feedback issues, huh?
Oh, serious steering issues. And then the big lag input, you know, you get this double lag thing. And I just think it's horrendous that a company can release something in that state when on a title like WRC, it's just wrong on every level. Because I won't get a refund for mine. Fortunately, I bought it early doors, so it wasn't that much. But for me, I've uninstalled the game. It shouldn't be happening.
Even though they have like their contracts and stuff, I just think it would have been better just to delay it. It would have pissed a lot of people off. I know it's a yearly title and it needs to be like on a certain time schedule, but it's like, I can't think of one person that's happy with that game except for maybe like some people on console, but like that's a whole different environment, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously I'm talking from PC only. Maybe there's more money in it for them with the consoles.
Oh, it totally is.
So therefore the guys with PCs like us that spend, you know, thousands on hardware. So it's back to Dirt Rally for me.
It's a great game. How do you feel about like how consoles, specifically PlayStation, restricts outside, you know, third-party peripherals on their system?
If you're building a PC for sim racing, you're talking a lot of money.
I know that firsthand.
If you're buying a console to play sim racing, it's not that expensive.
Well, unless you get it from a scalper, which is it shouldn't be that expensive. So how much of your shop is actually custom built for this operation?
Just a little garden workshop, if you like, that I've used for years just for messing with, you know. There's just a small lathe in there and hobbying, you know. I used to do a bit of model engineering, building steam engines and stuff like that many years ago. But it's getting more and more modded now towards obviously BDH, you know, it's all predominantly around what we are doing now. Built myself a potbelly stove from an old gas bottle to keep me warm on the cold days and nights, and and of course, him being a wood butcher, I get my fuel free.
I like that wood butcher. That's a good term,
There's a reason I'm called a wood butcher.
Do you think there'll ever be a point you have a rig set up and it's 100% BDH equipment?
No, there won't, will there? Because I don't know, because steering wheels, again, I mean, they're only a servo motor, and we've done plenty with them in the past in the automation industry.
There's one in that washing machine there.
Exactly.
Double as a direct drive wheel. How much do you think the pandemic has affected the industry?
Been brilliant. It's absolutely boomed. But there's an awful lot of racing cars sat in workshops undercover, wasn't there, for the pandemics? You know, not being able to get out there and burn rubber. So, you know, what's the next best thing? You've got a budget, you want to spend it, keep your hand in, let's build a simulator, let's buy a simulator.
To witness that firsthand, how everything could be put on hold, and I mean, people weren't like 100% accepting of it, but racing was completely stopped at one point, you know. I'm sure there's some people doing it like in their backyards or something, you know, but esports racing came into the picture and it kind of took its place. Do you think it's possible for the future, like when the EPA is just like, no more pollution, no more fatalities for this, like this is just dangerous? Do you think it'll ever get to the point where sim racing 100% takes over as the main form of racing?
I think it's possible. I don't know how likely it is, but I could say it's possible.
It all depends on how well the E-cars go. Formula E, all that sort of stuff.
But it'll be a very, very sad day if the internal combustion engine is banned.
Yeah.
So if Lewis Hamilton can sit in Britain and Max Verstappen can sit in Holland and they can do their F1 race online. There's not a lot of fuel being burnt there, has there?
Yeah.
And I think the powers that run the place would love that idea. And there'd be no problem with COVID vaccine passports or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
No marshal wages and all
no
that
marshals
sort of
to
stuff.
worry about.
Health and safety.
It's virtual, but we know ourselves how realistic it is now.
Would you guys trade your real life vehicles for sim racing if you had to choose one or the other?
Yeah, because it's cheaper.
If it had to be, if it was law, then fair enough, you've got to suck it and see. But if somebody said to me, well, you can only have your sim rig for 2 months of the year and do one real rally event, I would go for that route.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's the same
adrenaline
as yourself. If somebody said, you know, Doug, you've got to put your BMX away and just play
Yeah.
Dave Mirror.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I'd rather take the injuries, yeah. I think it's a little bit different, though, because with those games, unless like they kind of develop a VR version where you have body tracking and stuff, you know, like with what we're doing, it is very similar in terms of how you move and how how you're interacting with the game. You know, are you all into VR at all?
I like to get in the Escort in VR and get through them forests in Wales on dirt rally. It's just, give me that, man. Yeah.
Does it feel like it helps your driving?
It's not just the immersion, definitely helps with the depth of field and things like that when you're judging a brake, a fire brake or whatever, and, you know, going high speed because it's in 3D rather than 2D almost.
How important do you guys think VR is for the future of sim racing?
Massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive. Yeah. Somebody needs to bring out a console for sim racing with a good VR headset, good quality, you know, maybe, I don't know, 220 vision, whatever, instead of the binocular view I get with my Oculus, but I just think that that's my helmet. It just reminds me of like having an helmet on.
You got a good point. You know, I've always looked at PC as the main source for sim racing because it's so open-ended, you know, like peripherals, games, mods, and all that. But I bought my PC, I built my PC to sim race. It's a dedicated sim racing machine. Like, I mean, I edit on it too, and I watch YouTube videos occasionally. But if there was a dedicated sim racing console that 100% focused on an ecosystem of racing, and it was cheaper than a PC, that's a great idea.
Exactly.
It is different than gaming. There's first-person shooters, and then there's this.
And you can get the titles, put them on, and you're not going to have issues and setting them up and all reduce the knocking frame rate. There's the VR slot, bang.
That is a big barrier for sim racing, is how complicated some games are to set up with your gear, with the mods you want to use.
Hence WRC10 for me.
Yeah.
You know, I have a Simplicity. I use a Simplicity direct drive wheel. Simplicity SW20 V3. Fabulous wheel.
Yeah.
Really good wheel. Not very well supported, but it doesn't need it because it just works. But it will not work with WRC10. And I know which one I'd rather throw away, and it's not my steering wheel because it's fabulous on every other game. At the end of the day, if I sent you your shifter in a few years' time, or a few weeks' time, and it was in the same state as WRC10 has arrived to most people, what would you say?
Yeah, I would not speak highly of it, yeah. In WRC10's defense, though, when it does work, it's great.
I know it's sponsored, there's a lot of Fanatec on there, and there's, it's this, that, and the other. And I remember when it first came out, I was just crying, laughing, looking at all the comments saying, well, it might be Fanatec this and that, but I can't get my Fanatec wheel to work with it. And I was Jesus Christ.
As a manufacturer, how important do you think customer service and transparency is?
It's the most important part of it all. It is the most important part.
Yeah.
We're only small, like I said, you know.
Tomorrow, if we do get big, we are always going to concentrate. Number one priority, customer service.
Yeah.
Before and after.
Yeah. Henrik, he did a smashing video for us.
Yeah.
A few, didn't he? He did a few.
Excuse me, yeah. And Henrik's was one of the first. I think his was number...
I think it was like one or two, yeah.
Yeah, it was certainly one of the very, very first that went out. And touch wood, he hasn't had any issues.
Because he's a wood butcher.
He knows anything goes wrong, we have his back, we sort it. So, you know, but yeah, customer relations, it's the number one thing.
Yeah.
You get a bad name. I mean, you have to work hard to keep a good name, and I hope we're doing that.
Yeah.
Because one bad report undoes everything.
Yeah. Speaking of RVR, as you both know, like he owns a ridiculous amount of
He's
shifters.
building a museum.
Yeah.
He's building a shifter museum in Sweden, isn't he? Yeah, we know.
He has multiple times mentioned that your shifter feels better than the ProSim.
I mean, I've used a ProSim. I think it's a great shifter.
They're beasts.
We could emulate that. We could build one the same way. But why?
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
Yeah.
What's the point? And we're developing our own in a different way, which makes it cheaper to manufacture.
Yeah.
You know, we're BDH. We set out not to get in the way of anybody or do anything bad. You know, we didn't want to upset anybody. We just saw a gap in the market. I mean, I wanted a ProSim, but I couldn't justify spending £1,500, which is what it is in the UK, by the time the VAT's gone on it. I just couldn't have done it. I think my wife had shot my gentleman's area off in my sleep, you know.
And to clarify, I wasn't putting you or ProSim above each other. It's just like the fact that your first product was able to kind of match or surpass someone's perception of quality is very impressive, you know.
Obviously, I know about Quaife.
Yeah.
For the Ford Escort, the straight cut dog boxes influenced the way that I built our shifter.
Okay.
Massively. When I say Quaife, I mean the Quaife engineering, not ProSim. But Quaife were a massive influence in what I was doing, because they're just fabulous gearboxes. There's no two ways about it. So, which is why when RVR did his review, you know, the things he preferred about the ProSim to ours, I absolutely agreed with 100%. So I knew he was doing his job right.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, we didn't ask him to do a review. He bought the shift and we had no idea who he was and that. And all of a sudden, there's this, as we got to know him better, you know, I'm going to do a review. And then you look around, you see this name, RVR. We didn't know him as that. We didn't know him as that. We knew him as Henk. He said that he enjoyed going through the gear gate more on ours, but he liked the thrashing and the feel of the sliding gears on the ProSim.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing with that. I'm not arguing with that at all, because I would agree. Again, it's another development for later. There is another one planned, a bigger one, a better one. If we get our gear gate mechanism, how we do the gear gate, but with that feel of movement and inertia, then we'll see who's best.
There you go.
From the beginning, we always said to anybody who getting in touch regarding ProSim and us, we 100% have not set out to be better than anybody.
No.
Just to be the best you can be.
We had a great product. People loved it. We thought, well, we'll just see what we can do.
Exactly.
I was on the market for an H-pattern shifter from the Fanatic one. The Fanatic one is great for the price point in terms of what's available for that price point, you know. I do think someone can develop one better for that price point, but they kind of put their foot in the door and it made it possible for other people maybe to improve on that. When that just wasn't doing it for me, you know, I started kind of like searching on the market, and I was like, you know, what's really gonna satisfy me, you know? And I started looking and stuff, and I found the SIMvertex. I'm very happy with it. It's, you know, the V2 is amazing, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing the comparison video. A lot of people are really looking forward to it as well.
We're not.
It does leave something to be desired, and I'm really hoping that to find it within your shifter. I just can't wait to get my hands on it. And I just get your hands off my Stifler. Yeah. I'm just blown away by the level of communication that you guys are able to provide. And even with how busy you all are, you're still able to answer my questions, and you know, if I have any concerns, if I have any suggestions, you all have worked with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
The level of adaptability and flexibility, I haven't found that anywhere else in the industry.
Part of the main design on it is I wanted to make it upgradable and adaptable. This is built out of serious thick tubing.
Yeah.
People have asked, well, there it is. You know, that's 6mm wall tubing.
Yeah.
And everything we're doing is so this can be added to or modified. You could do a bit of modding yourself. You know, you can drill and tap into this side. You know, it's not crap metal. It's not, you know, if you can drill it with a hand drill and you get the hole a little bit big, it'll still tap, it'll be fine. You know, drill it through, put nuts and bolts. It's built with the future ahead. It's a big investment. People are spending their hard-earned buying this, you know, and we're quite humbled by that, to be honest. It's all built, you know, like I say, now the sequential add-on, which you have seen, the prototype, you know, we've built that so that it can go on the front or the back of the shifter, because it's a big piece of kit, which is a question I want to ask you at some point. Where do you want yours?
It's getting deep here.
Yeah, because obviously at the moment there's still a bit of confidential about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're saying it here. Yeah, we're on with it. The prototype is built. It works well. We just got a few more little bits that we want to add to it, like what we're going to call, I suppose, our real feel unit. We're putting a ratchet mechanism to it as well. You've seen, you know, so just to get a better feel for the sequential. I mean, it's fine as it is, but we want it a bit better.
Extra tactile feedback.
And of course, then the manual lockout gate, which we've sort of developed for yourself and for Blair, so you can take it from an 8-speed down to a 6-speed, 5 and 1 reverse. That's as good as done for you.
What are some questions that you all get frequently, that like the same questions over and over, that you can address?
Will it bolt to my profile?
Yeah, will it bolt to my... How will it bolt to my rig? The reverse can be changed over from one side to the other, so it's as configurable as we possibly can. Front, back, left, right, upside down, do what you want with it. You know, I don't know what you're going to do with yours with it being a Stifler, but...
That's actually one of the things that's really attractive about your shifter to me. The cylindrical design allows you to pretty much put the mounting brackets wherever you want, right? Like, or is that not the case?
Yeah, that was part of the initial design concept of it. I'll turn it that way and then...
There you go.
This, which we now slot slightly, because there was a bit of an issue with some guys getting bolts into the top, because there's not a lot of space at the front here.
And then you can slide it.
So we slot them a bit now. That bolts straight in. But if you've got it sat on top, so it's there, it might be a bit high for you, or you want it a bit further away, so you can sit it on its side there. You turn the whole body through 90 degrees either way, whichever you want. We've made it as universal as we can. You know, at the end of the day, not everybody's got the same rig.
Yeah.
Most people generally have an 80-40 profile rig, or 40-40 as we call it. I'm sorry, I don't get this 80-20 bit. I don't know where that comes from.
Do you all have like a completed unit, so you could show it on the... No.
As fast as they're built, they're in a box and gone, mate. I don't own one. He hasn't owned one. We can't afford them.
Yeah, because they're all being shipped out.
It really is that cutthroat at the moment.
Do you have any advice for people wanting to start in the manufacturing business?
If you believe the product is good enough, then believe in yourself, believe in your own abilities, go for it. It's a big world out there. It's surprising how many people are into this hobby. Plenty of room out there for innovation.
The more products, the better.
Even other people who are thinking about building H-pattern shifters, get on with it. Come on, do it. You know, there's a lot of people can't afford a BDH. A lot of people can't afford a Pro Sim, so they come to me and Billy. And a lot of people can't afford ours, so, you know, let's get them out there. Get some competition, you know. Fair competition, fair prices.
Papa John's. One last question. This is for both of you independently. Top 3 simulators.
I think Assetto Corsa's got to be top because it's the most versatile. Dirt Rally, or Dirt Rally 2 is it? Yeah, Dirt Rally 2.
Yeah.
And Automobilista 2. Them's my 3. Go on, your turn, Bill.
Dirt Rally 2, Automobilista 2, and I am actually a massive fan of Euro Truck Simulator, believe it or not.
Okay,
so
that's the first one.
I actually put that up there.
Very cool. That's one of those markets where, you know, it's recognized, but I don't think it's enough attention towards it. So that's cool.
Practice your reversing before you go and destroy something, you know,
in
the real world.
Yeah. In all honesty, joking aside, I've just done my trailer test recently.
Oh, yeah.
Never driven with a trailer before, but from ETS2, I honestly think it actually did help me a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't back and forth with a wheel like, which way do I go? You know, I knew which way to turn the wheel instantly.
There's a testimony right there. Yeah, for those of you wanting to get into rigging, you know, like, get yourself a simulator. I mean, you have to get like one of those huge steering wheels, so you might have to build a rig bigger than...
I was doing it with a deep dish wheel off Escort. It was a bit awkward, but...
You got it done.
I use a dustbin lid.
Oh, really?
I don't care. I just want to. We said right from the word go, we just want to build a decent product and charge a reasonable amount for it, and we back that product up. We're not one for building 100 of these things and slamming them all together, and throwing them out the door and going, "Give us all your money." We get an inbox full of, "Oh, well, this is broke, that is broke, this is broke," because we bought inferior circlips or bolts or whatever.
Each one gets tested.
And gets hammered.
Just to make sure that it's going to work.
Yeah.
Before it's even put in any packaging, before it's even got the final polishing, each one gets mounted and tested.
We've got one here.
Yeah.
It's starting now to get into its final build because it's been tested. There's still some modifications. I can't remember who this one is for. This is for. I'm not sure.
That's good. Oh man.
Yeah, man. This is yours. Say hello to your baby. This is yours. It's starting to get into its final build. It does have your proper name written in here.
No, I like Stifler. I mean, I kind of relate that to having a stiffy, and it's kind of like a long shaft kind of thing. So that'll be its name on the rig. I want to have to grab it with two hands. Yeah.
You've said it. Yeah. You might get some funny looks off the postman when he delivers it, but.